So I talked about like the 5 qualities that like women look for, right? Like the be available. And then I was talking to them and they're like, well, because when I'm talking to all my friends, my female friends who are like in these like relationship conundrums, what they say they want in a man is not who they choose to date. And I don't know if that's because, well, I'll use I statements. I used to choose to be in relationships with women who provided the kind of love that I thought I deserved.
Yeah.
But then once I like healed and like finally like learned to love myself, the level of love that I will accept will no longer be watered down. I will not accept less than what I know my value is. So I don't know if it's a conflation of women just not wanting to be alone or like feeling. I am also a much better man when I am in a relationship. If I am in a committed relationship, like I am firing on all cylinders. Mostly because 30% of my brain isn't like focused on like partner pursuit.
Yeah.
Right. So like I could focus on more things. And if you're in an established and real relationship, like your needs are being met and I'm just a better man. But I think what also may be a problem is that men are kind of posturing as being alpha, but aren't. These are the guys who like, they wear the flannel shirts and they drive the trucks and they can grow the beard, but like they can posture as being alpha only under ideal circumstances. And then as soon as any kind of water is added to that wine or any kind of unexpected disruption is introduced or any kind of challenge to their masculinity is questioned, they devolve into their toxic true selves.
Like this defending to a point where it's like a little scary.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like where it's like they feel the need to overcompensate because there's a lack of actual skill set. So some of them were, they have to be right, regardless of the feelings or the implications or the damage it does to others. Like they need to be dominant. It's a demanding of respect rather than a commanding of respect. Emotional suppression / uncoachable / being unsupportable. Like this goes to the emotional intelligence. They think they're fine. And that they don't need help to improve. I'm already a better person than my dad was, so how much better can I get? They just don't understand like how much room there is to grow. Acts superior to the feminine, like so it's like the have you ever heard the warrior and the maiden?
Why does it sound like something Cora would talk to me about?
I actually talked about it with Carl. I actually brought it up to her. So a lot of men will be like, oh, all she does is nag, right? Nag. So so there's this parable of the warrior and the maiden, right? Warrior goes off to fight in battle, comes home from war, comes home to his woman, and she has a meal waiting, and he is fed, he is loved up, and then when they wake up in the morning before he goes off to fight again, she says to him, hey, make sure, you sharpen your sword, make sure you fix your tunic, make sure you mend your shield. Because he was just going to throw his shit back on and walk out the door, right? So the reason that she is saying these things to him is twofold. One, his own attention to detail is not where it needs to be so that he can go back out at 110%. So that he can come home to her. It's also an act of self-preservation that if he doesn't come home to her emotional, physical, and financial well-being is compromised because now her risk of being abducted or raped or sold into slavery or the health welfare of her and her children are not compromised because there's not that strong masculine to come back. So the purpose of the parable is to be like, hey, as a man, you need to be taking care of your own shit first. And if she's pointing out to you where the flaws may be, that is not her nagging, that is her course correcting. And so if she is doing it, now of course there are 100% ways that like women can be like, like there's a way to, kind of like what we talking about
Hack it
earlier, like
out.
the truth may hurt, but the truth teller never should.
Yes.
Like there are ways to say things that are like encouraging. Like if it's kind of like training a dog. Like you need positive reinforcement. Like if every time I go clean shaven and then I come up to kiss you and you say, "Oh my God, honey, I love it when you're clean shaven." You have conditioned me to want to please you by coming clean shaven. But if every time I'm scruffy, I come up to you and I try to kiss you and you're like, "Get the fuck away from me with that scruffy face." Like you have not done anything to incentivize me to go shave, right? Like if you're going to talk to me like that in this dynamic, why would I expect you to talk to me any differently? So that anyway, that's where that's where the misconception of this not being coachable and suppressing the evolution, how you can be better and how you can evolve.
Like feeling like you're entitled.
Because your partner should not only like help you to know where your goals are and help you and want you to succeed in those goals, but they should also help you in course correcting you to where getting to your goal will be faster if you listen to what the fuck she says. The other one was, and the final one was aggressive behavior stances that are the result of a lack of confidence rather than a promotion of dominance. So this goes back to, blessed are those who have swords and know how to use them, but choose to keep them sheathed. Like your weapons and your skill set should hide behind your calm capability, not your calm capability shouldn't be, I'm sorry, being calm and capable shouldn't require the presence of weaponry.
Because you're capable, you don't need it.
Right. If you are I do not need to raise my voice or show you that I'm carrying a gun or threaten you in any way, shape, or form. Not you, but like I can solve almost all problems by making my presence known and saying, perhaps I could be of some assistance.
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes. I think there's so many people out there that just haven't had real good examples on how to have those tough conversations that lead to raising your voice or having to defend yourself. You know, there's just most people don't have good examples on how to do that, how to have good conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Especially men. Like a lot of the things they see, a lot of the guys they look up to are raising their voice, shouting, you know, beating their chest, you know? It's like that's the example. So they replicate it.
What do you look for in a partner?
What do I look for in a partner? Someone who feels like my best friend, but also feels like someone who someone who's not afraid to lead me, because I don't like having to make the majority of decisions in a relationship. I feel like I can do that dominant role, but I struggle stepping out of it.
Yeah, every woman I've talked to, the number one thing was lead and resilience, because they were like, remove decisions from my day. So they're like, I have like, because especially when there's like kids involved, it's like they are involved in so many decisions. They're like, don't ask me where we're going to dinner. Just tell me where we're going to dinner.
Yeah.
Like if I want to do something different, I will communicate to you. But like a man has a plan.
Yeah.
Lead.
And like, I think another thing is I try to meet in the middle and they don't want to meet me there. And that is really frustrating. So someone who can recognize that and reciprocate meeting me in the middle. So if I'm like, hey, I'm going to make you dinner. What are you hungry for? If you answer that with,
opinion.
Well, whatever, I'm so frustrated because 9 times out of 10, the person who says whatever, it's not whatever. It's not.
Yeah.
They're actually very
Have you ever
picky.
seen the meme where he's like, hey, honey, guess where I'm taking you to dinner tonight?
Oh, and she guesses.
She's like, how'd you know? It's like,
Sometimes you do have to like find tricks, because not everyone's perfect, and I
So-
don't expect someone to know what they want to eat every single day.
Men are dumb.
No.
No, I'm gonna just
No.
No, we are. We're fucking idiots. And usually when you show up, we're my sister has this very interesting framing. She doesn't. My sister's a psychologist at the Naval Academy, so she's kind of very savvy on this kind of a thing. When she goes to my niece and says, "What do you want to wear?" my niece has an opinion. My nephew, if my mom says, "What do you want to wear?" he goes, "Whatever." So what she does now, she's like, "Do you want to wear the blue shirt or the red one?" And makes him choose between two. I'll wear red. Okay. So it's like when there's too many options, men will just be like, "Well, I don't want to." I could see old me if you were to say to me, "I want to make you dinner. What do you want?" I would not want to say something that, one, you didn't know how to make, two, would take you too long to make, three, you didn't have the ingredients to make. Like because I don't want to burden you, and I don't want to be, as a man, I want to be more of service than being served. I would much rather my woman say, "I'm making you dinner. It'll be ready at 7.
Yeah.
Or say, "I can make you this or that. Which would you prefer?" But because we don't want to, and again, this after you've been with a partner for a certain amount of time, like this is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you know what's in the fridge, and you know what you can afford, and you know what her skill set is, and but especially like in those early like courting days, where it's like I feel intentionality is much more important. I think communication is important. I think intentionality is more important. So, but you're saying the framework of what you're saying is that you're already in an established relationship, and you say to him, "What does he want for dinner?" or "What do you want for dinner?" Or is this like still like in the early stage?
I guess it could be both, but I think it would be more frustrating later down the road, and you still haven't figured out that way to communicate with each other.
Yeah,
that is very unattractive for too long.
I'm working with a therapist right now who specializes in helping successful men find their ideal partner. I sabotaged a lot of really great relationships with a lot of like really amazing women whose only flaw in life was loving a person who didn't yet love himself. And so when she was saying, "Well, okay, like describe to me your like perfect partner," I was like, I want what every man wants. I want a supermodel with a law degree. Like, this isn't rocket science. But she's saying, no, like, really, what do you want? I was like, I have you ever heard, do you know who like Simon Sinek is?
No.
I'll send you some of his stuff on Instagram. He's a brilliant guy.
Great.
But he's basically saying that there are 4 components that must be met in order for a really great relationship to be great. One is there has to be like intellectual compatibility. One is that there has to be like emotional compatibility. There has to be like physical compatibility, physical, creative, like sexual compatibility. And then the 4th is circumstance. Like I was seeing a really great girl for a few months who met all 3 of those, but the circumstances were wrong. It was long distance. There was no way I could move there. She wasn't going to move here. It was just like we knew at the onset of that relationship that was going to be an issue that came up. And once it became, once it got to that point where it was going to start to turn into resentment, we had an honest and very mature conversation about having enjoyed the time we had together and being appreciative of each other for while we had each other, but that we both knew it wasn't going to go forward. But so, and I kind of explained this to my therapist. And she said, but what do you actually like want? Like, how do they make you feel? What do they provide for you? And I was saying, like, listen, I need a partner who is like very attractive because I'm a visually stimulated person. I'm a visual learner. I'm a visual
most men are.
Duh. But I also need someone who like understands my goals and wants to help me get there and believes in them just as much or more than I do.
I was about to say, the next one I was going to say feels like your biggest fan.
Yeah. But I also need someone who like I'm a Gemini. So it's like, I'm either like all in or I'm all out. Like, I go through this list, like, I'm
always so fascinated with guys.
I'm like swinging between this, like professionally, 100 times a day, I oscillate rather between everything is fucking great and I'm fucking everything up. and I can't believe this is working. And how did I get myself here? My success has largely been the result of being smart enough to know I will figure out and dumb enough to think it would be easier. Right. So I need a partner. And this is what I'm telling her. Like, I need a partner who is like, are you familiar with like love languages and like what your love languages are? Okay. Do you also know that your love languages are also your trauma response?
Oh, that's so true, though.
Right.
Like what you've lacked is what you look for.
So I was abandoned as a child, so my needs were never met.
Quality
So
time.
acts of service and anticipating people's needs are like how I show my love. I never got we were really poor, so I never got the gifts I wanted. So I give gifts to show others. I love quality time because I didn't get a lot of it. I need physical touch because I didn't get a lot of it. Right. So I need someone who can anticipate my needs as well as I can anticipate theirs. And she fucking said something to me that blew. It was just like, how did I not fucking see that?
Okay.
In order for someone to anticipate your needs, and they need to know you well, and that requires time.
Yeah.
And she was like, you want the 5-year relationship in 5 months. I was like, shit. She was like, so I have a service dog. And she was like, look at Ronan. Like, you and Ronan are fucking locked and loaded. Like, he was with you for 2 full years, training together, working together, got to know you as well as he got to know you. So that at that exact moment that you tried to kill yourself, he knew what you needed most. A partner will do the same for you, but you need to give it that time and space to breathe for them to get to know you that well. And if you can do it for your dog, you can certainly do it for a partner. But my issue is that I have, and again, I know that this like comes from like old, like toxic, pairing, where because I was abandoned as a kid and a partner would start showing me that love, as soon as they started to like withdraw from it, I would start like inserting like, do you know what covert contracts are? No. So a covert contract is a practice where you will hold your partner to a standard that they don't know that they're being measured by.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to do this one. And so she's like, so what you need to do is you need to find someone who you believe is worthy of your time, effort, and energy in order to foster that relationship to its point. Like, you are not going to get that in the first 90 days.
Right.
I was like, oh, that should be something I should work on.
It's true. But then you're also met with the argument that people love to make today is don't fall in love with the potential. Don't fall in love with the potential of a person.
I don't think you want to fall in love with, okay. Falling in love with potential is great if you're 22.
Right.
And you're still in college, right? And like he's going to Harvard, and then he's like, you're in college and he's going to go to law school, and then, he's got the internships already lined up, and like he's got a plan, and that plan is realistic. Potential would be bad if it's like, I'm a 22-year-old guitar player playing on Rainy, and I'm going to sign myself with, Interscope Records.
He sounds hot. 22 Ali would love to hang out with
him.
Yeah.
And 22-year-old Spencer would love to be date the cocktail waitress, but it's like, that's probably not, my future wife.